two.
Alrighty, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be tuning in us from. Now, by way of accessibility, I just wanted to bring your attention to the fact that closed captions are available for you on your individual end throughout today's session. If you would like to turn on your own closed captions, please do take a look at the bottom right corner of your video player to locate the CC button. Now, directly right to the right of the CC button is the settings button, the gear icon, from which you are able to change the appearance of your closed captions. As well as that, from the same gear icon, you are also able to change the playback speed and the quality of your screen. While today's session is being recorded, whilst you are in this session, you are able to take a pause if you need to. If that's the case, then please do take a look at the bottom left corner of your video player. Today I come here as a representative of Microsoft Experience Centre, which is a physical location here in Sydney, Australia, and every day I benefit from being able to live on this land as well as being able to work from this land. So I'd like to acknowledge the Gadigal people of the Eora Nation, who are the traditional custodians of this land on which Microsoft Experience Centre is built. I wish to acknowledge their connection to the land, water, air, and community as I pay respect to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples of past, present, and future. The sovereignty of this land was never ceded. Australia always was and always will be Aboriginal land. I'd also like to extend the same respect to all individuals from First Nations all around the globe. Alrighty, thank you everybody for tuning into Microsoft Virtual Training on Excel Level 100. There's absolutely no presumed knowledge for this one, so if you haven't touched Excel much in your life, then you are definitely in the right place. Now, if you have basic knowledge surrounding Excel, then this might be rather like a recap for you. But let's go ahead and now let us introduce ourselves. Alrighty, hello everybody, my name is Anna and I will be your main presenter today. I work at the Microsoft Experience Centre as a training associate, and today in the background from my team is Bilan. Now Bilan, would you like to come off mute, introduce yourself as well as talk to attendees about how they can actively get involved in today's session?
Sure, absolutely, I would love to. Thanks Anna, good day everyone. Welcome team Department of Education to the Excel session. I personally love Excel, so it's double pleasure, I guess, for me and honor to be helping your team with Excel today. So the way I will be working is looking into the questions and answers panel and helping you with the answers there and sharing some links. You can maximize and minimize Q&A panel. That's how we call it, questions and answers panel, by clicking a chat bubble with question mark button in the top right corner. So once you open this panel, on the left-hand side, there will be messages from me and potentially from other attendees. And on the right-hand side, in my questions sections, you will be able to find your questions and the private answers for those. Some of the questions will be published for other people to interact. Maybe there will be a great question, so everyone will benefit from it. Then I will go ahead and publish that question. And that for this case, maybe when you ask a question using that ask a question field in the bottom right corner, maybe you'd like to tick a box and make it anonymous question, or you're also more than welcome to use your name. We do recommend though using just first name for privacy reasons. That's all for me. I know you have an exciting content line up there about Excel, and I am really excited to follow along with you. So giving back to you, thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you very much for that, Bill. And I just wanted to reiterate just one more time, if you have any questions whatsoever, please do not hesitate to ask us at any point of this session. The Q&A panel is open for the next 55 minutes or so, so please do take advantage of that. Okay, so today's going to be an introduction to Excel 100, as in Excel. Here is today's agenda. Well, first of all, we will go over just a few slides so as to understand what Excel is and what capabilities it may have. After that, I will move us over to the demonstration environment and start showcasing exactly how you can get started with Excel, including how to use formulas and functions. Now, let's go ahead and take a look at some of the slides. Here we are. Alrighty. So within your Excel, you of course have the ribbon navigation right at the top. But one thing I can say about the ribbon is that it is customizable. So as you go along with your Excel journey, you may find that you would want to customize your ribbon, and it's easy as ever for you to do so. Now, before we move on to the next slide, though, what is Excel? I'm sure that most of you have interacted with Excel in one way or another. Maybe you created one before, or maybe you consumed data from your Excel. Today, we're going to be focusing on how we can create an Excel worksheet. And Excel is essentially a way to store your data. There's the columns, there's the rows, and those will be used as a cell reference. And by utilizing these cell references, you can create relationships between different data values. Now, formatting your Excel workbook might sound like a little thing, but it becomes important when you think about how people are going to be consuming your data. You need to make it accessible or as accessible as possible. Otherwise, the data that you may have, you might not get as much insight as you could have been. Now, moving on to using formulas and functions. I'm sure once again that everybody has touched on this at one point, but within your Excel, for instance, when you have number values, it is easy for you to create some formulas and functions and do calculation. Now, formulas are rather simple form of calculation, something like A plus B, that's going to be a formula, or A divided by B, that's going to be a formula. Now, functions are a little bit more intelligent than formulas. Think of functions as a set of formulas, and it is predefined for you, and you can utilize that within your Excel. Now, I'm going to be showcasing exactly how you can check what kind of formulas and functions are available for you in different categories while we are in the demonstration. So please don't worry for now. And let's go ahead and dive right into the demonstration environment at this point. So what I'm going to do, I haven't talked about how you can access Microsoft Excel just yet. Today, we're going to be accessing it via two different methods. Now, one is going to be via the web version. So to access the web version, I'm going to open up my little browser. So there we go. Let me just bring that screen in. Here we are. Now, when would you want to use the online version of Excel? Say that you are using a device and that device just doesn't have Excel desktop application installed. You are still able to access your Excel via office.com. So let's jump over to office.com. Oops, office.com. And that's going to land you on Office Portal. Now, please do sign in here with your work credentials, of course, and you'll be able to take a look at Office related applications here and files. Now on the left hand side rail, I can locate my Excel icon. If you are unable to, no worries at all. Take a look at the top left corner, App Launcher, and in there is a button that says All Apps. That's going to enable you to take a look at a whole list of Microsoft products that are available for you within your organization. Now, when you take a look at this list, what you see on my screen and what you see on your screen might differ a little bit. Now, the reason for it is because Office Portal is something that's customizable for every organization's needs. Now, having understood that, I'm going to go ahead and open this Excel online in a new tab. Here we are. And right at the top, notice how it says to the top right corner, new workbooks are saved to OneDrive. So whenever you're accessing Excel online, whatever file you make is going to be saved on your OneDrive. So you're going to be able to access that file via any device at any point from anywhere. Now, taking a look, I can see some templates here, new blank workbook, welcome to Excel. This is actually going to be your learning resource after today's session. And if you would still like to do a little bit more of a recap and brush up on your Excel, please do take a look at this Take a Tool. Now, taking a look at the bottom right corner of the templates, I've got more templates. So of course I can go ahead and take a look. There are something like calendars or track your tasks, something even like a budget planner. Now going back over to the home screen of Excel Online, below I have all of my files. Here I can access that, or my recently interacted files. Now my personal favorite is right here, the shared tab. If anybody shares any Excel sheet with me, then I'll be able to access that via here rather than having to look for that access link. Now you can also favorite your Excel book or Excel sheet, in which case it will be displayed right here. Now we can get started from here, but I just wanted to showcase how you can access Excel online. So at this point, I'm going to close off my browser and move over to the desktop version of Excel. Now let's go ahead and start typing in Excel in here, Excel. And right there, I've got my Excel desktop app. Let's go ahead and open that up. Come on, there we are. Perfect. Now, first thing we want to see is how we have tabs right at the top. So we got the File tab, Home, Insert, Draw, so on and so forth. Now, this might look a little bit different depending on your customization. Now, by default, it should look something like mine. But if you do want to learn how you can customize your ribbon, please do let me know and I will go over that content. Now your ribbon might look a little bit different than mine as well. Taking a look at the bottom right corner of the ribbon, I've got a tiny little arrow button going on here. If I click in there, I can go ahead and go into full screen mode where I don't see the ribbon. It's a bit of a cleaner interface for you. I'm going to click into the three dot in the top right corner, go back into the little arrow. I can show tabs only, in which case if I click into a tab, it will give me that ribbon here, or you can pin your ribbon right at the top of your screen at all times. Now, another thing you can do from this little arrow icon is the hide or show your quick access toolbar. So once you start using your Excel, there's going to be a couple of actions and features within your Excel that you're going to be using regularly. If that's the case, then you wouldn't want to have to go through, oh, what tab was it living in? So if that's the case, show your quick access bar. And right at the top of your screen, right here, there you go. Go back over. Let me go ahead and show again. Perfect. So right here, right below the ribbon, now I can add in my quick access tools. So for instance, automatic save or new document, print preview, spelling check, undo and redo. I do that often, so I might just add those buttons in here, undo and redo, perfect. So here you can customize your quick toolbar like so. Now, before we move on to the actual content of Excel, let's go ahead and take a look at the File tab. There we are. It will take you to somewhere like a home screen of your Excel. Now, taking a look in here, this is very similar to what we took a look at when we went over to the Excel online. So right at the top, I can check some of the templates and notice how there are more learning resources within the desktop version. Create a drop-down list, get started with formula, get to know Power Query, or even learn about pivot table. Now, once again, taking a look at the templates, you will see more templates in your desktop version here. Now, going back over to the, there we go, oops, File section right here. Below, once again, you can check your recently interacted Excel sheets, pin sheets, and shared with me, or more workbooks if they're not listed right here. Fantastic. So what we're going to do is to start creating a new blank workbook. There we go. Perfect. And we're going to start learning exactly how we can get started with this one. So taking a look at my sheet, this whole thing right here, well, I should say here. This is my worksheet and it is called sheet number 1. So right at the bottom of my screen, I can see that sheet 1. I can easily rename this to, for instance, October 28th. Here we go. And I can go ahead and start adding in new sheets like so. And for each of the sheet, you will have options. So right click on the sheet tab and you can insert, delete, rename, move a copy to a different sheet or a different workbook, or a tab color. So if you would like to sort of color code your sheets to organize your data, then please do feel free to do so. You can even hide your worksheet as well. So maybe you use that particular sheet as a draft. In that case, you might want to hide it, but not necessarily delete it. If you do hide your sheet, to open up your sheet again, right click on a tab and on hide will allow you to take a look at all the sheets that are hidden. So select the ones that you want to show again and hit OK, like so. Now, to take a look at Excel sheet, notice how there are columns. So columns are referred to by alphabet, so A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and it goes on and on and on. And then the rows are represented by a number. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And each of the cell will have its cell reference. So for instance, right here, this cell that it's being highlighted right now is referred to as A1. Now, if I click into this cell right here, then it is a G5. Now, in terms of different types of data, I do have an Excel sheet that's ready for this session. So let me just go ahead and bring that up. There we go. Where did it go? Perfect. Okay, so we can create relationships between the cells in terms of the cell reference and create relationship there. Now, going over to different data types. Here we are. This is a little worksheet for us all. Now in here, taking a look, there are roughly 2 different types of data within your Excel, which are integer, which means whole number or numbers, or string, meaning words and characters. Now, if you type in a number within a cell, there we go, go back, there we go, hit enter, it will be formatted to the right. And if you type in a string data type, for instance, hello, it will be formatted to the left. So that's how you know that they are different data set and data type. And that's how you can tell that Excel is able to tell those differences. Now, Excel is quite clever. There are different data types within your Excel, and Excel will be able to identify that for you. So taking a look at this worksheet right here, a whole number, I'm going to type that in. So for instance, 35. There we go. It did recognize that, but if I do want decimal number, let's go ahead and do 98.5658. There we go. Recognize the decimal number like so. Now, if I'm trying to type in a currency, as soon as I type in a currency symbol, whatever it might be, let me use a $sign in this case. There we go, 200. And once again, it will recognize that, hey, this is a currency data type. Now with the date, it will once again recognize it for you. Now all of these data types are going to be available for you to access via the Home tab. So within your Home tab, we've got something called Number section. Taking a look in here, look how there are different types of data here. So for instance, I'm trying to add in a date here. So, okay, let's use short date. Once again, there we go. And I can just go ahead and say something like 28th October 2021. Like, oops, I did mistype right there. There we go. Perfect. Now it changed into the data format for me. The data type format for me. And with the time, let's go ahead and try to do 4:30. Once again, notice how it added that AM for me. Percentage, let's go ahead and try that out. Let's do 30%. And once again, it is now a percentile data type. So those are different data types here. Now, at this point, let's go ahead and take a quick pause to see if there are any questions.
Fantastic. Thanks, Sana. Nope, at this stage we have no questions, but something to add from myself would be making lists and copying lists is quite handy. Sometimes you want to use the same formulas in Excel and for maybe for a new set of data, and sometimes you maybe just simply want to test something which make changes in formulas. So feel free to make copies simply just by right-clicking on any sheet. And from there, you will be able to make a copy of that sheet and place it in the same workbook, or maybe in completely a new workbook, or any of the workbook that you have opened at the moment. That's all for me. The Q&A is still open, and whenever you have any questions, please send them through the Q&A. That's it for me. Back to Anna. Thank you.
Fantastic point. Thank you very much for that, Bilan. To demonstrate how you can copy, I'm going to copy this intro tab. So right-click on the section or the tab name, move a copy. Let me zoom in on for you. There we are. I can select which workbook I want to copy or move it to. For instance, let's go ahead with this notebook or workbook, and I'm going to put it after all the other tabs like so. So I've just moved that tab, or you can simply grab it with your mouse and drag it across. Now, you have probably noticed that these look like something rather than just the cells being filled with letters and numbers. Now this is called a table. A table is where you are actually creating a relation between columns and rows. So let's go ahead and see how we can create our table. So for instance, I'm going to go ahead and create a quick table here, say product name, price, and quantity. And that I want that to be my heading, but I'm just going to leave that for now and start typing in the product name. So for instance, chair is $45. And I want to do 45 here. And I want it to be a currency data. So what I can do, select the cell, go into home number, and I'm going to select my currency, English Australia. There we go. Now it's a currency data type. Now quantity, let's say 13. Next, product name table, price is, let's say $200. And notice how it recognized the $sign for me. Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and add in the quantity here. So let's say 5. And let's say table. Price is 30 and quantity is 20. There we go. Now I want this whole thing to be a table, so it has a relation between different cells. what I'm going to do is to select this whole thing. Now, when you click into a cell, to the bottom right corner of the cell, there's going to be a tiny little square in green. So let's go ahead and drag that out to select the whole thing. Oops, not what I wanted to do. I'm just going to do that. There we go, perfect. And I'm going to go ahead and hold down my control and press T. And it will say, are you trying to create a table? And does your table have any headers? And I do have the headers. So I'm going to go ahead and hit OK. And boom, now I have my table ready. Now, if the design isn't good for you, if this isn't to your liking, go ahead and take a look inside of your table design tab. Now, this tab will only appear when you select a table. So for instance, if I click into a cell, that tab disappears for me. So if I want to do something about this particular table, I'll select a table, go into the table design, and here we are. So I can go ahead and, for instance, show total row. There we go. It does the instant calculation for me like that. Or let's say I want to change how it looks. Let's say something green based. There we go. Or something a little bit darker. So depending on your liking or depending on the accessibility needs, go ahead and change those up around. Let's go ahead with this one today. Perfect. Now, when you have a table, one of the advantages is that you can utilize your filtering. So at this point, for instance, if I hover over the header product name, take a look inside of the sort function. I can sort the rows in terms of alphabet order, or I can choose to display only about chair, like so. Now you might think that the data's gone. The data is still here. It's just displaying different things. So if I take over all the things again, it will display like so. Now with the price, if you go into the sorting, once again, Excel is quite clever. It recognizes that, oh, okay, this isn't letters, this is a number. So now it's giving me the option to sort smallest to largest or largest to smallest. And once again, I can apply the number filters here. Same thing goes for the quantity right here. And for instance, if I do sort largest to smallest, there we go, perfect, like so. Now, another thing you can do, okay, let's go ahead and start learning about how we can utilize the formulas and functions. So what we're going to do is to create another column here. And what I'm, there we go. What I'm going to do is to select this last cell right here. And by using that little green box to the bottom right corner of this cell, I'm going to drag it across. And you can copy the content of the cell into another cell like that. So this is referred to as flash fill, I believe. Now, I have copied that across and it says quantity, but I want it to say, let's say total profit. Okay. Now, I need to calculate here. I want to do this. I want to do price times quantity and put that in this cell. So we're going to use the formula bar this time. I'm going to make sure that I have selected the cell that I want the final number to go into. So that's the destination cell. Now, within my formula bar, I'm going to start typing in equal, basically letting my Excel know, hey, I'm going to start calculating. Now, what I want to do is to $30 times 20. So I'm going to select this little cell right here. Notice how the formula bar now has the reference B12. So B12, perfect. Now this times, now within your Excel, the operators, the mathematical operators are plus, minus, asterisk, and forward slash. Now the asterisk stands for the multiplication, so I'm going to use that times what? Here, the cell reference is C12, so I can either click on the cell or type in the cell reference in my formula bar. See? Well. And all I need to do is to simply hit enter. And look how it did the calculation for me. And the rest of the cells took over the same formula, but applied to their individual numbers for their row, and they've got the number going on here. So nice and easy for you. Now, I want to know the actual total profit of all the products here, right at the bottom of my table. So what I'm going to do is to highlight this column, all of my rows. Notice how it gives you a tiny little quick analysis. Now, you can utilize Control Q as a shortcut. And by the way, if I move my mouse over to each of these icons and the buttons within my Excel, it gives me a little screen tip with the hint as to exactly what it does with the shortcut key. I'll show you how you can turn this feature on. Your settings might be turned off by default. Now, this quick analysis, this is my favorite. Let's go ahead and click into that and see how you can, for instance, format in different ways. Data bars, ooh, look at that. Now I can see with visual, with the number, what this is. Or I can do color scale, icon set, indicating this is what number it is, greater than, top 10%, clear format, or charts. I can even get started with creating charts without having to do anything, just click of a button. Let's go ahead and create a charts column right here. There we go. I can insert it in, move it across like how you do it in your PowerPoint. And once again, if you insert something and if you selected that component, the tab will appear for you. So right here, I've got a chart design in my ribbon. If I click out of it, it will disappear. No worries at all. Click back again, and it will appear for you again. So from the chart design, I can maybe make it look a little bit more professional, make it look a little bit cooler, or change the colors to match your scheme, whatever it might be. Alrighty. Now, going back over to the quick analysis, so I'm going to select all my cells. There we go. And click into the quick analysis. Next to charts, we have totals. It does the calculation for you. And look how there are different types of calculation here. Sum, average, count, total, percentage, running total. I'm going to do a sum. There we are. And notice how it added the last row for me in this table. And it's done the calculation for me. Now, I've got a little issue going on here. Why isn't the price calculated properly? Well, I made a little mistake here of typing in the $ and a number, but I didn't make this into an actual currency. So what I'm going to do is to select these cells, go into my home, number, and currency. There we go. Now let's go ahead and try this out again. I'm going to select and totals, sum. Come on, it should do the thing, but it doesn't. Okay. Well, if that's the case, then here's what we're going to do. I want the calculated number in here, so we're going to do the quick analysis by hand. So to do that, once again, select the destination cell, go into your formula bar. And by the way, if your formula bar isn't displayed, please do let me know in the Q&A, and I will showcase how you can display that. Now your formula bar, what we're going to do is a super simple one. I'm going to do equal sign and then sum. And here we are. These are the functions that you can use. And take a look at how it says adds all the numbers in a range of cells. Okay, that sounds like exactly what I want to do. So what I'm going to do is to hit tab. There we go. Once you hit tab, it will say sum, bracket, number 1, number 2, so on and so forth. It's saying, hey, this is how you can use this formula. you have to enter the range number here now. So my range is going to be this cell right here, the price cell right here, the B12. So I'm going to select B12. And then I can either do a comma and do B13, comma, B14, or I can make it into a range by using colon. So let me zoom in on for you. There we go. Colon, B12 to B12, 13, 14. There we go. Close the bracket, hit enter, and here we are. Now I have that sum right there. Perfect. Alrighty, so we've covered quite a bit just then, so go ahead and take a brief pause to see if there are any questions.
Fantastic. Thank you, Anna. Yeah, we do have a couple of moments, a couple of questions, and we also have 27 minutes left of the session. One of the things I've shared in the Q&A, I think is really important and can save you tons of time if you tried the autofill and flash fill options. There is a short video that explains how they work as well. Maybe you'd like to watch after the session. They are amazing, absolutely, and they work so good with the tables together. There is a question coming from Anonymous that sounds like formula tab is not being displayed. Please explain. So the thing is that formula bar, as many other things, they are adjustable. So if you head to the View tab on your screen in Excel, you will be able to tick the box and turn on the formula bar. For some people who don't type formulas, and to be honest, I don't type formulas in the formula bar myself, I would usually switch it off. Thanks for the question. Now I know that I can switch it off. But yeah, if you want to turn it on, please head to the View and tick the box formula bar. That's all the questions we have for now. Thanks, Anna. Giving it back to you. Thank you. Doing well. Thank you.
Perfect. And thank you for that formula bar question, actually. So go into your View tab, and you should be able to find formula bar tick box. Now, if this isn't displayed for you, then you will have to go over to your File, Options. Go inside of the Advanced here. There we are. Now you should have something that says Show Formula Bar in here. Let's go ahead and take a look. Allow it in. Zoom in.
Wasn't it right inside the user interface, Anna? I think it was in the View tab. At least that's the way it showcased for me.
Yeah, so here we are. If the Show Formula Bar, if this is unticked, then you may not see that option in your ribbon. So I'm just going to let everybody know that. Going inside of these Excel options, there are a couple of advantages. So one of the things is the tooltip. So whenever I hover my mouse over any of the buttons within my Excel, it gives me that little hint. Now to turn that on, go inside of accessibility in your options. Let me zoom in on for you. Application display options right here. Show feature descriptions in screen tips. I highly recommend that you turn this on until at least you get used to using Excel, because it will help you understand what each of the button will do for you. And it gives you the keyboard shortcut as well. Perfect. Alrighty, what we're going to do now is move over to this little Excel sheet that I have ready. And we are going to explore how we can quickly and efficiently create calculations and so on and so forth. Now, notice how this is a table already. I've got a little header going on, and for each of the header, I have the sorting function as well as the filtering function. So whenever you are creating a data set, make sure to make it into a table or you won't have these advantages. Okay. Now, taking a look right on the right-hand side, I've got a little workbook ready for us. And total stock, it says. What's the total stock? Well, first of all, what are these data? Well, the product here, so it keeps track of what products are being used within my company, and the quantity of each of the product, as well as the department as in category of that product, supplier, product price, and retail recommended price, inventory value, and right at the end, I've got profit per product column. Now, we kind of know how to do this, but let's get started with this one. Okay, so from here, what would be profit per product? Well, it would be retail recommended price minus the purchase price. That'll be the profit. So then it's a simple math. It's a simple formula that I can use. So I'm going to use the equal sign. And by the way, make sure to select the destination cell first. And I'm going to do retail recommended price minus purchase price and hit enter. Perfect. Now, it filled everything for me here, but say that you didn't have that. Say that it didn't do it for you, and you just defined one formula like this. How are you going to apply the same calculation or same formula to the rest of it? That's exactly what Bill was saying earlier. This is the autofill function. And you're going to use this tiny little green square to the bottom right corner of this cell. I'm going to grab that, and notice how my mouse changes to a cross, like so. And making sure of that, I'm going to drag it across, let go, and boom, it's copied the entire formula for me, but in regards to each of the rows. So if I take a look at the formula here, instead of saying F2E2, now this one is F3E3, same goes on here. And notice how when you are taking a look at your cell reference here, my F4 is in blue, E4 is in red. Taking a look at my cells, they are highlighted in individual colors as well. So this color coding scheme will help you see exactly what you're taking a look at and what you're using to calculate. Now what we're going to do, let's explore a little bit more about the formulas and functions. So total stock right here, what is it referring to? Well, I just need a number of the total quantity. So what I'm going to do, once again, select the destination cell and let your Excel know that you're going to be doing a calculation. So equal sign, excuse me, there we go. Equal sign, what do I want to do? Well, I want to sum it. Sum. I'm going to now give it a range. What would be the range? Well, you can type in the cell reference, or you can select the cell, drag across, and it will give you the range like so. Hit enter, and there we are. So now I've got a total stock 750. Perfect. Now say that I want to find out the maximum profit out of this column H. Then what I can do, I'm just going to type in max profit. There we go. And I'm going to select the destination cell. Once again, type in the equal. There you go. Max. Max is a special word, so I'm going to type in the maximum and zoom in. It says returns the largest value in a set of values and ignores logical values in text. So it has to be applied to number values here. Let me zoom back out. I'm going to use the max, and whenever you're using a functional formula, go ahead and hit the tab button so that it will give you this tiny little tooltip where it says, hey, this is how you can fill out this formula. So I'm going to do a max here within the profit per product. I'm going to select the whole thing. There we go. I want you to find out what the max is for me. And don't forget to close the bracket, hit enter. And here we go. Now my max profit was 350. You can do the same thing with min as well. Minimum, min profit. I can do the same thing, equal, min. And I'm going to select the range with a mouse, like so. And here we go. Perfect. $5, too easy. Alrighty, now let's go ahead and step up a bit. Say that I want to know whatever products that has the quantity over 15. And if the quantity is less than 15, then I'm going to have to restock. So I want to mark them. So in that case, what you can utilize is conditional formatting. So I'm going to go back over to the Home tab from the top of my screen. Conditional formatting sits within the Style section. So taking a look in here, there are loads of options already for you. And look how it says highlight cells rules, greater than or less than. I want to highlight any cells that's less than 15 within the quantity column so that I know that to restock those. So less than, there we go. Okay, format cells that are less than 15 with light red fill with dark red text, or yellow fill. Actually, let me zoom in on for you. Options here, yellow fill with dark yellow text, green fill. Let's do light red fill, and I'm gonna hit OK. But this is going to be applied to, there we go. I didn't select the range, oops. So I'm going to select this entire column B now, and then conditional formatting. Let's go ahead and try this out again. Less than 15. Thank you very much, and hit OK. Now taking a look how it has highlighted those bits now for me. Now I did make a little mistake here. It's highlighted the rest of my columns for me as well, because rest of the rows in this column as well, because I selected the entire B column. I should have selected my range like so and stopped right here. But that's a little mistake right there. Well, I can do the undo because I added that quick toolbar here. Let's go ahead and do it properly. There we go. Thank you very much. Less than and 15, like so. Brilliant. Now, taking a look inside of my column C, department. These are set categories. So it's either accessories or desks or chairs. And there's nothing else. So what if you want to limit the input here? Because someone might do this. Someone might just type it in a wrong way. And that will make variance for this particular column, which might not be a good thing if you, for instance, want to do data analysis based on this data set. So to make sure that only limited inputs are placed in right cells, what you can do is to utilize data validation. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to select the entire column here. There we go. Go inside of the Home tab, and I should have format. Ooh, that's not it. Data. Oh, where'd it go? Data validation. Okay, there we go. Perfect. So within your Data tab, Data Tools, this tiny little icon right here, Data Validation. It's got a little tick and a cross for the icon. And I'm going to click into that little button and go into data validation. Now it will say, and let me just zoom in on for you if I can. Come on, there we are. It'll say allow what kind of value? We can allow any value, whole number, decimal, list, date, time. So you can limit data type here. What we're going to use is list, because we know that this column that we're taking a look at is only ever going to have accessories, chairs, and desks. So make it into a list. And I'm going to type the source here, accessories, comma, desks, comma, and chairs. There we are. And I'm going to hit OK. In this case, for each of the column now, each of the cell now, if I click into the cell, I've got that tiny little drop down. And from the drop down, I don't know why this is so tiny, but I can select either accessories, desks, or chairs. There we go. So that's data validation for you. Now, once again, let's go ahead and take a little pause here to see if there are any questions.
Fantastic. Thanks, Anna. I think we did have just those questions with formula bar related, but we still have, I think, about 13 minutes left from the session. So if anyone has last minute questions, please send them through. We'll do our best to answer. But also just wanted to comment with regards of the data validation. Honestly, I find myself also sometimes lost and not able to find a function in Excel. In Word sometimes do have quite a lot of functionalities. So there's a search bar there on the top maybe you want to use whenever you're looking for data validation, maybe remove duplicates. I think that's amazing function that helped me hundreds of times, but you can just search, yes, fantastic, freeze pane, another great functionality in Excel that helps you to keep your headers all the time on the top whenever you scroll down, so you always know where you're looking for. Not the best example, Anna, in this case, but yeah, if you just select I think you need to select this row number 2, so the first one just stacks. But anyways, yeah, it's just great functionality, and you all can find them using the search bar if you can't really find them in the tabs. We did get one question. After adding info in a data validation list, can you add more? That's a great question. To best of my knowledge, yes. If you select the range, it can contain empty cells. Then you can add data to the range, or otherwise you will need to slightly change the range. I think that's the answer I would provide. But Anna, I know you have more knowledge about it, so I'm giving back to you.
Yes, I'm sure that you can change the listing as well. I just can't quite remember exactly how at the moment, so I'm going to leave that for Ben for now. Apologies, everybody. Okay, now I did get a little question right there in the Q&A about freezing the pane, and I did showcase it in a really bad way earlier. So here's how we can do this, and here's what this is about. So, okay, there we go. Okay, so for instance, right on the left-hand side, I've got the product name, but if I keep going ahead and scroll to the right, it of course disappears. If I want to know what it is, I can freeze this. So I'm going to select the entire row here, entire column here, and I don't know where my freeze pane is. Don't worry, you can use that search bar, freeze panes, and I'm going to freeze the first column like so. And now the column has been frozen. So I can move across and I will still see the column. There we go. Whoop, there we go. Perfect. Now, one more thing that I want to do here, taking a look on my product names, some of it has this little hyphen in between the words. It says Office Desk dash corner, Office Desk dash medium. What if I want to separate them into a different column? Or a really good use case scenario would be this. Say that you've got a column full of someone's email address and you want to separate the domain from the rest of it. Then you can do this. Go inside of your data tab, data tools, text to columns. It's going to allow you to specify a delimiter. So let's go ahead and try that out. And let me select this column first. Text to column, delimited here. I'm going to use the delimited. Go ahead and hit next. It'll say, what's the delimiter? Tab, semicolon, comma, space, or other. Well, in my case, none of these. It's the hyphen, so I'm going to use that, other. And here in the preview, I can now see Office Desk corner, monitor mount single. The details separated like so. I'm going to go ahead and hit next. And it'll say, what's the destination of this? I'm going to go ahead and keep it as that and finish. There's already data and it says you want to replace it. I don't want to, so I should have added an extra column right there, but let's go ahead with this example anyways. And here we are. Now I have separated the data like so. So you can do that easily. Now, another thing you can do is to count a particular cells. So for instance, taking a look at this department column, I want to know exactly how many accessories, how many desks, how many chairs are appearing in this column. So I'm going to select the whole column here. There we go, drag. Oh, I don't want to do that. Okay. There we go. And I can do this, count if. Now I do need the destination cell, so I should have selected that first. Let's go ahead and use this as a destination cell. And I'm going to say equals count if. And once again, I've got that little tip showing. Count if, what's the range and what's the condition that you're looking for? Well, the range is going to be this entire column. The criteria, for instance, is going to be chairs. Let's go ahead and try that out. How many times did chairs appear in this column? I'm going to select the range from here till right here. And comma, what's the criteria? Chairs. Chairs. Oh, I think I need to do a double quotation right there. Do that. There we go. Now it says 5. So 5 times chairs appeared in this column. Alrighty, now I am getting a little question in the Q&A saying, I have an error message, #spell when trying to total. Okay, when you get any sort of error message, so for instance, let's go ahead and try out, I'm going to try adding these. Here we go, totals, count. That's not what I wanted to do. Okay, here's what I'm going to do. Here's something that you can't do, right? So within this cell, I'm going to try and divide 10 or 15 by 0. Oh, I should do that in the column here. Equals 15 divided by 0. Now it says, you can't do that. Now for each error, you will have this tiny little yellow notice icon. Go ahead and click into that. And in here, error checking options is going to be your best friend. Take a look at that / help on this error. Sorry, help on this error. This is going to be your best friend. This is exactly what I use every single time I have an error. Click into that and it's most likely give you exactly how you can fix your error. So no need for you to have to go ahead and open up a browser to look up about your error. Go ahead and take a look in here and it will tell you how you can fix it. So for instance, in my case, it's saying, oh, you can't divide you can't divide a number by a 0. Perfect. A good thing to point out though. Alrighty, now last thing that I want to talk about in the last 5 minutes is about your sharing. So if I want to co-author, on this document with my colleagues. For instance, maybe I need someone else to do a bit more of data entry. Well, what you're going to do, top right corner, share button. Now, when you share your document though, if you want to be able to do a real-time co-authoring, you need to ensure that you've saved your document in the cloud, whether it be SharePoint or OneDrive. OneDrive is your personal work storage, and SharePoint is your shared work storage. Now in here, I have already saved this document within my OneDrive. If you do need to know how, go into the file, save, and select your OneDrive destination here. Or if you don't see that option, you can add a place. So sign in with your OneDrive email address and you will have the option to save it into that destination. Going back over, making sure that you've saved your file in the cloud, going to the share, there you go. Now there's going to be a couple of options for you. Right at the top, it'll say, what type of link are you creating? And there are 4 types. One of them is anyone with the link. And as you can see, my anyone with the link is disabled within my company. If yours is displayed in a way that mine is as well, then please do consider that you're not allowed to use that feature. Now, the second option here, people in your organization with this link can access this file. Well, if my Excel sheet contains some company critical information, then I might want to use this link so that I can ensure that anybody who's outside of my organization, even if they receive the link by accident, they won't still be able to access my document. People with the existing access. So this is something that happens all the time, but you might have just shared a document about 5 months ago with someone. That someone may lose their access link. They might just they might just forgot where it was. If that's the case, go ahead and use this one and give the link again. Or if you are, for instance, trying to share a document with external people from outside of your organization, then you might want to use the specific people here. Now, after you select those options, you can choose or not to choose allow editing. Go ahead and hit apply. In the next section, you want to type in the destination email address or the person's name. If they are from outside of your organization, type in their email address. If they're from your organization, for instance, I have a colleague called Alex, I can type in his name, select his profile, Alex Wilbur, or let's go ahead and do that. There we go. Come on, Alex. And I can type in a message here if I do want to, and go ahead and hit the send to send the automatic share email, or copy the link if I, for instance, have a chat open with that person on Teams. I can just go ahead and share out that link. Or if I do want to rather formally share out a document than an automatic email, then I can go ahead and open up the Outlook draft with the link embedded in the draft. Once the recipient receives the link, they can access this document. And when they do, while I am accessing it, their icon will show up right at the top of your screen on your right-hand side. And you're going to be able to see their cursor and exactly where they're editing. One caveat here is that you cannot edit the same cell at the same time. So if somebody is editing a cell, you will notice that you won't be able to access that particular cell. Alrighty, fantastic. So we covered quite a lot of basics throughout our Excel. Let's go ahead and dive back into the PowerPoint presentation to wrap us up. So we learned about the navigation within the Excel ribbons, specifically about, for instance, something like a formula bar. If you don't have that displayed, go ahead and take a look at your View tab. And if that's still not there, you can use the options via the File tab. Go into the File tab, bottom left corner, Options. Now, we know how we can create workbooks and worksheets. Particularly, we know how we can even move our worksheets around within your workbook or across workbooks. And we learned about formulas and functions. Now, I haven't talked about how you can check all the formulas and functions you can use. Here's how you can do this. Going back over to my Excel one last time, going to the Formulas tab, and there is a function library for you in different categories. So for instance, maybe I want to know a little bit more about logical functions, and, false, if, error, loads of options for you. Maybe I need to know a little bit more about financial functions. Taking a look in here, and this is displayed in alphabetical order. And if I hover over each of the function, I can take a look at exactly what it does, or I can go into more details via Tell Me More button. Fantastic. Alrighty, so that'll be it for today's content. And one last ask from myself is, if you have any time, something like a minute to spare, please do let us know your feedback via aka.ms/DOE2810. Alternatively, you can scan the QR code to access this survey. Last slide right here is an announcement for you. Today's session has been recorded and will be available for you on your individual and via the link that you used to join this training today. Now, the video will take a little bit of time to process, so please do leave it for a little while, and after that, you'll be able to access it for the next 6 months. If there are any colleagues that couldn't make it to this training today, but if you think that they would benefit from it, then please do feel free to share out the join link. And even if they didn't attend this training, they will still be able to check the recording. Alrighty, everybody. So thank you, everybody, for tuning in today and interacting with us via the Q&A panel throughout the session. I hope everybody has a fantastic rest of the day. I just wanted to say thank you very much once again. Alrighty, everybody, have a good rest of the day, and bye for now.